Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Diane Desiel and today I'm going to show you how to do the pattern of a front jeans pocket. Before to start the pattern, I'm going to show you two kinds of pocket bag that you see on the market. They're both very common. The first one goes all the way to the center front. So in this case, you have better chance that the pocket bag stays inside. And the other one that I'm not doing today, but I could do a little later, it's a pocket bag in one piece. So you have a fold here. And in that case, of course, nothing is holding it. So if your facing is not long enough, the pocket might come out. Now to start the pattern, the first thing is, of course, to retrace your pant or short block like I did. And this one already has the seam allowance included, so I made sure I redid the seam line on my pattern so there's no confusion. The first thing we'll do is the pocket opening. There is no rule except that if you want to be able to put your hand inside, it has to be big enough. And the way you calculate it is by putting your hand where you want the pocket to be and calculate an extra of 1.5 on each side, at least. So the next thing is to trace your pocket bag. Like I said, no rule. So really the shape that you want, where you want it. And double check the size to make sure you have enough on both sides. The next thing to do is going to be to trace your pocket bag itself. Very often in jeans, it's not long enough to put the whole end inside. So just decide the length that you want for your hand to go in and mark it. And also if it's in an angle, decide the width you want your pocket bag to be. And then you could trace. Remember that if it's not long enough, the things might come off your pocket. And to trace the pocket bag, you don't need it to be the full length on the side. So we could go a little higher on the side and just curve it. Then for this one, I decided to bring it all the way to the center front. So also, there is no rule, but of course you're going to attach it higher than the zipper length. So you could just bring it all the way up, maybe halfway from the waist to the zipper length. And this would be the shape of your pocket bag. The next thing to do is going to be to trace the facing that you saw also on your jeans. And the facing is not only this little area that we have already, it has to be bigger than the opening, again to make sure it's not coming out. I would say a minimum of 3 centimeters parallel. You could also do it bigger, no problem. In that case, I'll do, let's say, a 4 centimeter, and it doesn't have to be the same shape. And a 3 cm over here. I'm doing my line square with the grain line or parallel to the grain line. And I'm just going to curve. The facing is all this part. My opening, facing, and pocket bag. Now before tracing or going any further, you could already add your seam allowance on top of the opening line. Now it's time to retrace the pattern piece, and we're going to have 2 pocket bag and 1 facing. So I'm going to put 3 layers of paper under, making sure that it covers this area. And you could pin them together. Then trace with your tracing wheel the pocket bag line and the facing line. Last thing to retrace would be your pocket opening. Then while it's still pinned, you cut all around your pant. Now still, while they're all pinned together, you could make all your notches. So do notches for the pocket opening both sides. And the other notches like the hip or hem. Before to separate your piece, make sure you trace the grain line so you have it on all layers. And remove the pins. separate your paper. The small one will be your facing, so I'm going to write it down. One of the piece will be the big pocket bag, and the other one will be the small pocket bag. Now you're going to take the small pocket bag and put it back with your pattern. Align the notch, pin it back together, and remove this area. Then you're going to take the small pocket bag with the big pocket bag. Again, align your notches together, pin them together, trace the bottom of your pocket bag, and add your seam allowance. Then you could cut them together. If you notice, my curve is very soft, so it will be really easy to do or a French seam or overlock in one shot. We have one last piece to finish. It's the facing, so I'm going to trace my facing line, and I'll be able to cut it right away. I'm going to report also my grain line. The facing is not going to need any seam allowance, but because it's usually applied over your big pocket bag. So if you see here, it's only overlock and it's stitched on. So you don't need no seam allowance, just cut your pattern and make your grain line on both pocket bag. Each piece is going to be cut two, but the two pocket bag, of course, will use a different fabric. So we call it or lining or pocketing. This pocketing fabric look like the muslin that you use to do your draping. So the pattern is finished, and if you see, my facing goes right over the big pocket bag. It would be overlock and top stitch over your big pocket bag, while the small pocket bag would be sewn and turned to be applied over this bottom part. By overlapping your pattern piece and cutting them together, notching them together, you have the best chance that all your pieces, they match perfectly. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy. If you want to see the assembling of this pocket, just let me know in your comment. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I say thank you. I see you next time.